Well, equal pay for equal work, the subject of partisan back and forth in Washington this week. And today, President Obama and Republicans offering competing plans to make sure women earn the same as men doing the same jobs. Now, the president arguing the need for legislation in his weekly address. Listen.
Earlier this week was Equal Pay Day. It marks the extra time the average woman has to work into a new year to earn what a man earned the year before. You see, the average woman who works full-time in America earns less than a man, even when she's in the same profession and has the same education. That's wrong.
The unemployment rate for women rose last month. Meanwhile, growth is slow and wages are stagnant. Washington overreaches so much that employers have little choice but to lower wages rather than to increase them, to reduce the hiring rather than expand. This has to change. So instead of politicizing women, let's celebrate the extraordinarily positive role they play in our economy and focus on how we can further expand that role.
And joining us now to talk about the fight for fair pay is financial advisor and money manager Laurie Itkin. Hi, Laurie. Good to see you.
Hi, Arthel. How are you?
I'm well, and I want to let everybody know that you have a book out there. It's called Every Woman Should Know Her Options, Invest Your Way to Financial Empowerment. Very good for you. So let's get right to it. First of all, how do you find out if you're not getting equal pay?
Well, you know, obviously there's a wage gap, but I think this issue's become way over politicized, and there are things women can do today to close their own personal wage gap. I mean, women, it is incumbent upon us as women to figure out what are the market rates for the salaries in the industries we're in, and we can actually go about choosing industries where we know the pay disparity is lower. STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and math. We know that women in those fields are being paid almost as much as men, and especially for the younger women just coming out of college and graduate school entering the job force.
But wait a minute, Laurie, you're telling me that I have to choose a particular line of work where I know that as a woman I'm going to get paid equally for my equal abilities? I feel like I should be able to go into whatever profession and get paid equal to a man. Why should I have to choose?
Well, I'm not saying that, Arthel, but we as women have a lot of obstacles that men don't have. Many women take 5 to 10 years off out of the workforce to raise families. And then we come back into the workforce. We can't be paid as much as the guy down the hall because he now has 5 to 10 years more experience and more seniority. So we can choose husbands that are going to stay home with the kids so that we can continue on our careers. That's a way we can close our personal wage gap.
Well, a lot of guys are doing that. So let's say you know that you are underpaid for your position. How do you approach your boss?
You know, women really need to do a better job at negotiating what they're worth. You know, we as women, we are independent women, we are confident women. Now let's get paid what we're worth. There's a lot of anecdotal evidence that men come in when it's time for a raise and they flaunt what they've done. They flaunt what they've done to show their value for an employer. And we as women have to stop being scared to talk about money and ask for what we're worth.
With Laurie, is it being scared? You know, it's that old double standard. If we as females are assertive, then of course they look at us and they want to call us you know what. So when do we have to not worry about that and go in and ask for what it is that we are worth?
Arthel, you don't worry about that. I don't worry about that. We just need the young women to feel confident and not be afraid of being thought of in that derogatory term. I mean, what's really important, though, the focus really should be on how women are investing and growing the money that they do earn. We can spend a lot of time talking about how much less women get paid than men do, but we then need to be smarter about taking advantage of our 401ks, taking advantage of IRAs, making making sure that we keep more of the money that doesn't go to the tax man and grow our wealth, because at the end of the day, we don't want to be working for the rest of our lives.
Absolutely
we want to be
not.
working to earn money and invest the money to
Right.
grow our wealth when we need it.
Okay, so let's get back to you find out you're getting paid less than the person who's sitting, you know, in the office down the hall from you, and you're doing the same amount of work. How do you approach the boss? Is there a better time of week to approach him or her? I mean, do you put it in an email? And if you do, how specific do you actually get before you actually face to face with your boss?
Well, first of all, you can always use your HR department to help you before approaching your boss. There should be a parallel strategy there. And really the best time is to say, you know, I want a review. I'd like to prepare for you what I've achieved, how I've really added value for the company, not what I've done for myself, how I've added value to the company, and say that I've been here, this is my value, and I deserve X. You can't be afraid. The worst they can say is no, and then you put the pressure and you say, well, what other ways, what other benefits can you do to compensate me, because this is not fair.
And then when you
and
say,
at the end of the day,
go ahead.
I'm just saying, a lot of women are saying if they're upset about what they're being paid, more women than men now are starting their own businesses. We're all becoming entrepreneurs, and that is the best way to close that wage disparity, because when you're your own boss, you set your own salary.
Yeah, well, we like that. Laurie, good to see you. Good job, and we'll see you again sometime. How about that one? Take care.
Thank you.
You got
Appreciate it.
Laurie Itkin. Okay, so the woman